Cooper's career was ended due to injury. Arch Manning's career is going to be ended due to being shitty. Or should I say Pitt, bitch? Y'all ain't doing nothing. Pitt's been irrelevant since Kenny Pickett left in 2021. Yeah! Well, you want to know what Clemson is? Not shit. I am over Colorado's shit. Over. One of the biggest things as a fan base that we always say, you don't lose to Vanderbilt. As they fucking should be, dead last, because you fucking suck and you're dog shit. Okay? Good.
Intercepted! Zach Sanchez picks it off! Toward the end zone, it's intercepted! Trey Brown! You can... Pressure, flush, strike, throws late, down the middle, incomplete! You can... Steps up, launches for the end zone, far side, ball hangs in the air, it is knocked down, and you can... Deep shot fluttering around the 15-yard line. It's caught, wrapped up, stopped. You cannot. Man rush, looks left, throws left. It is intercepted. Trey Norwood.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be doing another 2026 college football record prediction, continuing with the SEC. On the table today, the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, I'll start off by saying this prediction is going to be pretty easy compared to the previous ones because I've already done 4 games on Oklahoma's schedule, and you'll see those already knocked out of the way once I put their 2026 schedule up. But, of course, before we can predict their 2026 record, we have to recap 2025. We're going to start by talking about their season from 2025. They started off against Illinois State. They won that 35-3. Then they played host to Michigan and won that in pretty convincing fashion, 24-13. I wasn't expecting that. Now, I've always been an SEC guy, but here lately I've started to begin to acknowledge the fact that the Big Ten is probably better than the SEC. So, especially Michigan coming off a national championship season 2 years ago. Prior to that, now it's 3 years ago. Despite them cheating because, But nonetheless, they came into Norman and they lost by 11. So that was a good win for Oklahoma. Then they beat Temple 42-3. Not surprising. For some reason, that game was at Temple, though, which is very odd. Then they played host to Auburn, won that 24-17. Then they played host to Kent State, won that 44-0. So that put them at 5-0. Pretty good start. Then they played Texas in the Red River rivalry. They haven't won that game since Dylan Gabriel was there, and they lost that 23-6. But then they would quickly rebound by beating South Carolina on the road, 26-7. Then after that, they hosted Ole Miss, and we all know Ole Miss was really good last season, and they lost that 34-26. Then they went on the road in back-to-back weeks at Tennessee and at Alabama, and they won both of those. They beat Tennessee 33-27. Then they beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa 23-21. Both of those are very impressive wins on the road, especially back-to-back games. Then they hosted Missouri, won that 17-6. Then they closed out the regular season, beating LSU 17-13. And as we're all aware, Oklahoma did make the playoffs last season, and they got axed in the first round by Alabama 34-24. So overall, Oklahoma went 10-3 last year. They were 6-2 in conference play, 6-2 at home. And, of course, I just mentioned they got axed in the first round of the playoffs. We're going to look at the stats for Oklahoma in 2025, then we will go ahead and get right into the record prediction, which will not take too long, considering I already mentioned that I got 4 games out of the way already. So let's go ahead and get to the statistical side of Oklahoma's 2025 season. So John Mateer did get injured, but he came back. So he only had 2,885 passing yards. Leading rusher was Torrey Blaylock with 480 yards. And then Isaiah Santiga III had 965 receiving yards. Their leading tackler was Kip Lewis with 76. And then their interception leader was Peyton Bowen with 2. As a team, Oklahoma had 31.2 points per game, 405 points, 38 total touchdowns, 240 first downs. Net passing yards, they had 3,066, 7.1 pass yards per attempt, and 235.8 pass yards a game, 17 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Rushing attempts, 435. They had 1,540 rushing yards on 3.5 per attempt, and they had 118.5 yards per game, 18 rushing touchdowns. They had 895 offensive plays, 4,606 yards total, averaging 354.3 a game. So that'll kind of recap Oklahoma's 2025. Now we look ahead to 2026. And I'm going to go ahead and put the schedule up for you right there. And as you can see, I already have them dropping 4 games. I predicted Georgia's schedule, have them losing to Georgia, predicted Texas, have them losing to Texas, have them losing to Ole Miss, and I have them losing to Texas A&M. Now, they do get Ole Miss and Texas A&M in back-to-back weeks at home, so an upset is very, very likely. They could beat Ole Miss or A&M or both. But I just think Oklahoma's taking a step back this season. Now, it could go in the way that Ole Miss and Texas A&M might not necessarily have the teams they did last year, and maybe they fall off and Oklahoma stays consistent. Oklahoma did have a really good defense last year, but I don't think I can pick them to beat Ole Miss or Texas A&M. And then Texas and Georgia is a given, especially Georgia. I don't think Oklahoma is capable of going to Athens and winning that game, honestly. And then Texas, they're going to have to beat Texas for me to pick them. So that's the reason I have them losing those 4. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to the rest of the schedule. So they begin 2026 hosting UTEP. There's no reason they should lose that game. UTEP is one of the worst teams in the country year in, year out. And Oklahoma should cruise by the Miners. That sounded very wrong. I apologize. UTEP as a whole, dang. So they start 1-0. Then they go to Ann Arbor. It'll be a revenge game for Michigan. Michigan was a pretty good team last year. And while Oklahoma may have gotten the win in Norman, I think this time Michigan is going to beat Oklahoma. I don't know if Oklahoma is going to be capable of going to the Big House and pulling that off. That environment's just like Ohio State. It's pretty hard to go in there and win unless you're Appalachian State or some random team or maybe Ohio State. But honestly, I think Michigan gets revenge this year and takes down the Sooners, so they fall to 1-1. Then I have them beating New Mexico. It's much like UTEP. I mean, New Mexico was a pretty good team last year, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to beat Oklahoma. They were good enough to beat UCLA and Nico, but, Nico's dog shit, and that's why they beat them. I don't think Oklahoma's going to lose to a team like that, so they're going to start 2-1. Then they're, of course, falling to Georgia and Texas, so 2-3. Damn. Then they play host to Kentucky. Kentucky's going to have a new coaching staff this year, and the game is in Norman. Oklahoma does return John Mateer, had a pretty good defense last year. Kentucky's a pretty physical team, but I think Oklahoma's going to win that and advance to 3-3. Then they go on the road to face Mississippi State. Mississippi State's one of those teams where I just can't confidently say they're going to beat anybody, really, for the most part. I know they went 5-8 last year, but I don't know. I mean, they played a lot of teams tough, so I'm not saying Mississippi State's going to be bad, but I think Oklahoma's going to go on the road and handle business and advance to 4-3. Then they play host to South Carolina. honestly, South Carolina wasn't very good last year, and I don't see that changing this year. I think Shane Beamer's eventually going to be on the hot seat, probably going into 2027, and maybe gets fired in 2026. I'm not sure, but I think Oklahoma's going to win that and advance to 5-3. Then they play at the Swamp. That's going to be a tough place to play. Florida has a lot of talent. They got a lot of potential. New head coach John Summerall. They do have a new coaching staff, which that'll favor Oklahoma. And Oklahoma defensively is really good. Florida defensively wasn't bad last year, though. And Florida was able to beat Texas at the Swamp. But I don't know. At the spot in that seat, where they're at November 7th, to that point, both teams are going to be pretty well organized. It's just hard for me to pick this game because, Florida lost to Tennessee at the Swamp by that point last season. So, but this is a new era. But I don't even know who Florida's quarterback's going to be or anything. I'm not real sure. So, honestly, as much as I want to pick Oklahoma to get upset here, I'm just going to take the safe pick and pick Oklahoma to win based on experience and the coaching staff and the defense they had last season. So I think Oklahoma advances to 6-3 before quickly falling to 6-5, as I've already explained in previous videos. So then you either go 7-5 or 6-6, depending on what you do against Missouri. It's a road game at Missouri, and you're able to beat them last year. It's in Columbia, but something's telling me just, the lack of confidence and just the overall getting through the season. It's a road environment, technically a rivalry game from the Big 12. I don't know. I'm just thinking by that point, Oklahoma's going to be pretty tired. Brent Venables probably going to be on the hot seat after losing so many games. And call me crazy, but I'm picking Missouri here to upset Oklahoma. Would it be an upset? I'm not sure, but I'm going to give Missouri the advantage here since it's in Columbia, simply based on the fact that I think Oklahoma and Missouri are going to be pretty similar teams in 2026. So, yeah, I'm going to say Missouri gets them, and Oklahoma goes 6-6 in 2026. That's obviously not ideal, and that's probably going to either get Brent Venables fired after a playoff season, or he'll be on the hot seat entering 2027. Now, realistically here, can Oklahoma beat Ole Miss? Maybe. Can they beat A&M? Maybe. Can they beat Missouri? Maybe. I don't think they're going to beat Georgia or Texas or Michigan. So that's 3 losses. I'm guaranteeing they could lose at the Swamp. So, you're lucky I didn't say 5-7, and look how hard people got played by Mississippi State last season. So, you never know. I'm at least giving you a bowl bid. So, at the very worst, I'm going to say Oklahoma goes 6-6, and at the very best, I'm going to say 9-3. I'm going to give them that range. I don't think Oklahoma makes the playoffs. I don't think they do much of anything. I just think they get a basic bowl game, and that's about it. So, that's what I think about the Sooners in 2026. You guys can let me know what you think down below. Obviously, Sooner fans, I apologize. It's pretty disappointing, but that's just what I personally think. So I could be wrong. You guys could do a lot better. You could do worse. We'll have to just wait and see. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.